Well, hello everyone, Philosopher Stoner 666 here. So I'm making yet another video. This one's a bit of an addendum to my last video on tattoos. There was some stuff that I forgot to talk about. It just sort of slipped my mind. You can have a look. That's the lake. This is the lakefront where I live. Right now the lake is calm, but this lake is a particularly moody fucker. Like, I've seen on some days it's calm like this, and then it's like, a storm is coming. And it gets all wild and crazy here. I've seen like some vicious fucking waves around here. Anyways, so addendum to my last video, the tattoos. Two of the tattoos, I forgot to mention some stuff. The Buddha tattoo that I talked about with the snake and the skull Buddha and the flame. The flame represents, there were these monks in Vietnam during the Vietnam War, and one in particular is famous. I mean, they even have this on video and like pictures of it and shit, where he set himself on fire. It was sort of in protest. Listen to me, I can't even talk. In protest to what was going on in the war. They made a very powerful statement. You know, they said, you people are evil. Both sides of the war did terrible things, like what the communists did to people. I saw in the one forest, the Cu Chi tunnels, they put like, you'd have an area, they dig a hole in the ground and then put all spikes, and then if someone fell in it, they'd get all fucked up on the wooden spikes and shit, and all kinds of booby traps, all kinds of shit. And then, what the Americans did was really evil, like napalm, all that crap, all sorts of dead people. Very terrible, very evil war. No real, like, good guys, really. Not really. And so they said, you people are evil, this is evil, and they set themselves on fire. They did it to make a statement, and they did it to sort of say, hey, look people, pay attention here. And if you take Buddhism very seriously, like if you get really into it, I've talked about it before in my other videos, you're supposed to sort of, go celibate, pursue a spiritual path, and sort of reject the material world. That if you take it very seriously, they don't have a lot of good things to say about life. So they say life is suffering. They do sort of say there is a way to get out of suffering, but as I've mentioned before, it's salvation for the few and not the many, and that's sort of where I disagree with it, where I'm not a Buddhist. But anyways, if you take it seriously, they don't have very much good to say about life. And so they're people that are depressed, probably suicidal. The people like us, depressed people, suicidal people, whatever, have existed all throughout human history. And so they're basically ready to say, yeah, you know what, this game is kind of fucked, this game is stupid, life is suffering, whatever, I don't want to play it anymore, and I feel like killing myself. But instead of just killing themselves, it's different in like a Western sense. Like in a Western sense, it's the traditional, you buy a ladder and you get a rope and you do it all quiet in your closet or in your room, and nobody sees it, nobody pays attention to it. It's a very sort of selfish suicide. I prefer the self-righteous suicide of like a Jesus character, doing it to sort of redeem the situation, to try to save people that are currently alive. And I wish that if it were possible, if I could die and say this world would be saved from all the horrible suffering and stuff, I might do it. Like if I knew, say, my suicide would save like 5 children's lives or something, I'd do it in a heartbeat. So that's sort of what I admired and respect. And so the monk that I have tattooed is the skull Buddha with the snake Buddha, but it also has a blue flame around it, symbolizing that sort of that self-righteous suicide, that self-immolation thing. And like I said, there's a very famous monk. They even have a statue of it in Ho Chi Minh City in Saigon of the monk that did it. He's like been immortalized. He's like a flame Buddha. And it's a very famous statue. It's in like the center of the city. I forget what, I hate how I forget names and how I'm terrible with names. But anyways, he's like a cult following in that particular city. Very well known. So, yeah, the self-righteous suicide, it's something that I'm down with. Like I said, if the suicide can save other people or save the world or save something, then that is a more productive way to kill yourself. Like it's better than, like I said, the Western way, which is, doing it in your closet, doing it in your room, hide, nobody pays attention. It's like a self-pity party. So it's different. Anyways, yeah, I'm sort of just repeating myself. That's sort of it. The second thing was the tattoo of Billy the Kid. As I said before, I did that one to sort of keep it gangsta. But it also goes back to a memory that I had of when I was 16. I took a trip to New Mexico, Arizona, and I was with my mother at the time and her friends. She had like a boyfriend or something. I was rather naive at that age, very awkward. But anyways, we did like a whole tour of the state. So we went to, Las Cruces, which is in the south near El Paso, up to Albuquerque, to Santa Fe, and then to Roswell. And Roswell is where the aliens, there was that alien incident. So anyways, we saw 3 places that had claimed that it was the place where Billy the Kid, the famous outlaw of the West, got executed, and they did it for tourist reasons. So anyways, my name is William, and then the nickname for William is Billy or Bill. So I've been known, when I was a kid, I was known as Billy, and so hey, Billy the Kid, perfect, and it links up nicely with that memory of being in New Mexico and all that. And like I said, the whole gangsta thing, it's sort of like, well, who is Billy the Kid? Well, I'm Billy the Kid, right? Kind of. Maybe, not really. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. I also wanted to talk about the subject of porn. Now, I know it's a kind of a 180 direction for the video. Not really related to my stupid tattoos at all, but yeah, I've been thinking about porn recently, and as I've said before in some of my other videos, the whole sex thing, especially in early Christianity, they recognized, well, none of it's really a good thing. The only direction that sex goes is the whole having babies thing, and that's the whole purpose and the whole point of sex, even though, like I said, whether unintentionally or intentionally, it's about making babies. And it doesn't go anywhere outside of that. And like I said, the early Christians recognized that outside of that project of being a husband, taking care of a wife, taking care of children, and the responsibility that would entail, and thus the meaning from the value equation of that, it didn't really go anywhere. It just, lust doesn't go anywhere. Desire doesn't go anywhere. You're horny one day, and then you satisfy the horny, and then you're horny the next day. There's unrequited love. There's drama, jealousy, heartbreak, betrayal, all sorts of negative things. Sex can be a source of joy, a source of happiness, but it can also most probably is just going to lead to bullshit. It's most probably just going to break down and go to shit. And what really exists is human frailty. People get old and need support systems and need to take care of themselves. So how this relates to porn is, like I said, porn is the unsatisfiable desire. It's the lust, and it doesn't go anywhere. And it's as much as I'm against procreation, I'm against exploiting women. It's not good for the man. It's not good for the woman. I read something, a philosophy paper, and once again I forget the name, but he sort of made the point that porn feminizes men and masculinizes women, because with women it masculinizes them in the sense that they're like a man. They have a sex drive. They want to have sex without consequences, and it feminizes the man in the same sort of way, because it's, again, sex without any consequences. It's sex that doesn't go anywhere. There is, like I said, there really is no other place for it to go other than having children. So really, if you want to do the right thing, if you want to be a proper antinatalist, you sort of have to ultimately, in the end, reject sex. Recognize that it is just a causer of problems. It can have really negative side effects, drawbacks to it. And like I said, it doesn't go anywhere. So we have to sort of, I'm of the opinion, as I made in my video, Antinatalism and Dating, that one should reject dating, sex, all of it. Now, you know, you can avoid having sex. I'm a hypocrite because I have looked at pornography. I've looked at lots of porn, and I've jerked off quite a bit. But I can recognize, it's kind of like prostitution. This really isn't a good thing. It's not productive. It's probably more destructive than it is productive. So, yeah, that was sort of my only point. I covered everything I wanted to cover. I'm just walking and sort of enjoying the lake before I go into work. And yeah, that's enough of a video, I guess. Philosopher Stoner 666 out.